fighter in the world. Pernell Whitaker is often mentioned among the best pound for pound, so we asked Pernell for his own top 10 reasons why he considers himself boxing's best.
Number 10, my near-perfect record.
The only blemishes on Whitaker's record are 2 controversial decisions, one a loss, the other a draw. In the eyes of most boxing experts, Whitaker won both.
Number 9 and 8, my hand and foot speed.
With the possible exception of Roy Jones Jr., no other fighter possesses the blurring hand speed. None is more fleet of foot than this welterweight sensation.
Number 7, just try to hit me.
Getting in and out, ducking and squatting. There is no other fighter with defensive skills like Sweet Pea.
Number 6, no one can match my move.
Already the showboating from Whitaker, who threw a punch behind his back.
Number 5, I never give up.
On the 4 occasions when Whitaker has been knocked down, each and every time he's gotten up to win.
Number 4, my 4 titles.
In all of boxing history, Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran, Thomas Hearns, and Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker are the only fighters who have won titles in 4 different weight classes.
Number 3, my jab.
Working off a snapping jab, Whitaker neutralizes his opponent by making his statement first.
Number 2, conditioning.
At 31 years of age, Pernell has never shown any sign of fatigue. His last 5 fights have gone the distance, and in each case, his strength has increased in later rounds.
Number 1, I leave that one for Gary Jacobs to answer. From the Atlantic City Convention Center in Atlantic City, New Jersey, HBO Sports presents World Championship Boxing as Pernell Whitaker, winner of titles in 4 different weight divisions, defends tonight his welterweight crown against top-ranked challenger Gary Jacobs of Scotland. It's scheduled for 12 rounds. Off of the boardwalk, upstairs in the intimate room in which Whitaker appeared in March and won a 154-pound world championship from Julio Cesar Vasquez. He surrendered that title. Now he prepares to defend his 147-pound championship against #1 challenger Gary Jacobs. Hello again, everybody. I'm Jim Lampley. We welcome you to the latest installment in Pernell Whitaker's ongoing argument for his preferred status as the best pound-for-pound fighter in the sport. Totally fitting, then, that working with us tonight in the absence of George Foreman, who takes the night off, is the man whose name is most often mentioned in the same sentence with Whitaker's in that argument. 168-pound world champion Roy Jones. And Roy, it lit Pernell up when you walked into his room yesterday. Obviously, this ongoing competition between the 2 of you for the title of best pound for pound is motivating both you and Sweet Pea Whitaker.
Yes, it's a very, very, very motivative factor. It's something that gets us up, makes us want to go out and perform, look like a great champion, look good against the guys who are not supposed to give us the best challenges. It gives you another reason to go home, train hard, get yourself in the best condition, because, hey, you can't let that guy outdo you.
Kind of gives Whitaker some fuel to burn on tonight as he goes against a guy who fought on the undercard of his Vasquez fight in March and didn't get good reviews. Most experts not expecting Jacobs to give Whitaker much of a test. He said yesterday he'll try to make Pernell fight all 3 minutes of every round. You give him any shot?
Well, you have to give a guy a shot. If he has the heart and courage enough to come inside a ring and face another guy, then you have to give him a shot. But when you're dealing with a guy such as Pernell Whitaker, who is, like I said, one of the best pound-for-pound boxers in the world today, it's very difficult for a guy who is not at that top level to stay in the ring and even have much of a chance.
One of the 2 best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, you think Pernell is?
One of the 2.
All right, Roy, we'll look forward to working with you again. Also working with us tonight, HBO boxing analyst Larry Merchants. And Larry, I'm going to ask you to comment on the content of our feature piece before we lead to the feature piece, because the subject is obvious. Is Pernell Whitaker, with all of his accomplishments, simply too good for his own good?
Beats everybody, wins everything, got rich. That should be the worst problem he ever has, Jim. But it's true, when a pure boxer like Pernell Whitaker paints that canvas in the ring with artistry rather than blood and guts, there are always people who are going to say, well, he's a little too perfect for the game. The thing is, we are always hoping or expecting or thinking that he is going to be severely tested, whether it's up against a very good champion like Buddy McGirt, or an outstanding champion like Julio Cesar Chavez, or a bigger champion like Julio Cesar Vasquez. And yet he always aces the test. No matter how high they put the bar, he soars over it. And yet at the same time, he's 31 years old, an age at which most champions in the smaller divisions begin to lose a fractional step. And sooner or later, probably sooner, he will be tested. Maybe not tonight, but it's going to happen in the near future. Perfection, they say there's no room for it. I could stand a few more examples of his perfection, Jim.
Yeah, 6 of the last 7 fights going the distance against tough opponents, but Pernell, as has customarily been the case throughout his career, winning virtually every round in those championship fights. Again, is he too good for his own good?
I never really understood how you could be too good for your own good. If you're good, you're good. You're never too good for your own good.
Sounds logical in most fields of endeavor, but boxing is a sport in which talent is scarce, network exposure sporadic, and a shrinking fan base is disgusted with mismatches and controversial decisions. So Pernell Whitaker finds himself struggling to maintain his prominence and his dominance in the twilight of his career. Like a futuristic mechanized robot, he forges ahead despite the obstacles his success has created. Since Whitaker's pro career began almost 11 years ago, his skills have repeatedly reduced legitimate contenders to overmatched pretenders.
They have put some great fighters in there with me to test me. You know, not to say that they didn't try to put the best in there with me. They did. Just no one could get the job done. You know, and I can't fault them. You know, you just have to give me credit.
Another fallout from Pernell's domination is that nobody wants to fight him. Combine that with the business of boxing in the 90s, and the few credible opponents out there might never step into the ring with Whitaker.
The problem is that some of the good opponents that are available for Pernell are with Don King, who refuses to have his fighters fight for HBO, so that way those fights are prevented from happening. I think he uses it as an excuse that he refuses to have those fighters fight for HBO because he knows that Pernell would beat Julio Cesar Chavez. He knows he beat him once already very easily, and he'll do it again. And he knows that Pernell would beat Felix Trinidad.
Unlike his predecessors, Leonard, Duran, and Hearns, Whitaker continues to wait for a great opponent to challenge and verify his ring superiority. Meanwhile, the boxing spotlight now appears focused on new faces and Mike Tyson. It's a no-win situation for the 31-year-old welterweight champ, but it might explain why this fight against Gary Jacobs, an unheralded challenger from Scotland, takes on special meaning.
I think for this fight, I reached back into the closet again, you know, as I did for the Chavez fight. I want to do some things out there that can make the fans' heads shake again. Just say he can keep going and going and going, and I want to go out there with the pizzazz. I I want to have the slickness and the moves, the angles, the dipsy duel, and all my antics that I've had prior. That's what I want to have for this fight.
We've heard promises of a different Pernell before, but even a change to a more aggressive style has drawn little attention. For a variety of reasons, most of which are beyond his control, the reigning pound-for-pound king is fast becoming boxing's forgotten star. But, like the futuristic mechanized robot, this pugilist continues going forward, fight after fight.